Hi, just doing the video in a different place today as I'm waiting for my kids to have piano lesson. Um, but what I want to share today is, when I realized that my boys are not only listening to what I say, what I tell them, but they're also watching how I live, the way that my husband and I interact and all that. I remember, I think when Gabe was around 2 or 3, maybe. He wasn't really talking yet. So there was a lot of frustrations in that he can't explain to us what he wants and what he's upset about and all that. So at that time, I parented the way that I knew how to, which was um, to learn from how I was parented. So when I was younger, my parents used to just, if I don't obey, if I don't listen, I get a smack. And I tried to do differently back then, but still, when you can't talk to your child and your child won't listen and your child can explain to you what he's going through and all you see is just the behavior, what ended up happening was I was smacking Gabe and yelling at Gabe a lot. And this was when he was only 2 or 3 years old. Obviously, I wasn't, emotionally mature either, and just don't know how to handle it. I just want him to listen, and that's it, and obey. So that is a pattern that I realized and I discovered as I was talking to my husband. We were trying to figure out, why is it that Gabe, anytime he doesn't get what he wants or he just can't communicate what he needs, he will, burst into a big tantrum. Now we know it was meltdown. He just didn't have control over how he was reacting at that time. But he was hitting us. He was hitting us a lot every time he's upset. So my husband and I think one night we were talking about, how to handle this, just discussing about everything. And it's like a light bulb turn on. And I was like, hang on a second. I said to my husband, I think he's actually copying us. I think he is actually hitting us because we are hitting him. When he doesn't behave, when he doesn't listen, I would smack him. And yeah, so I kind of thought, I think that's why. And we decided then, okay, let's learn to, be more patient, and let's try and not do that to him. Don't smack him. Don't yell at him, and talk to him nicely and show him by example what we want him to do. And a long story short, his behavior improved a lot. It took a long time and we weren't perfect, of course. Do we still smack him? Yes, we did. Not proud of it. Did we still yell at him? Yes, we did. But we tried, and it showed results and change in behavior to a positive one. So we realized from that time, okay, that really woke something up in me, because as parents, I think sometimes we think parenting is just mainly about teaching our children, telling them what to do, telling them what's right, correcting them, give them instructions, make sure they study, do their homework, and behave well. And of course, all that really matters to help them. But I was learning, and I am still learning that our children don't only learn from our words. I think even more they learn from observing us, looking at our patterns, and, for example, how we speak to ourselves and to others when we are tired and stressed, how we treat people when they're not the easiest people to deal with, and how to respond to things when we are disappointed, for example, and how we as parents apologize when we make mistake or not apologize, how we talk about ourselves, how we make the home environment feel. And I believe that's why parenting is truly just leadership at home, the first place where you learn leadership. Not leadership like, controlling or thinking I am the boss because I'm the parent. You just listen. The usual phrase of because I said so, so you do it. But leadership at home as influence, as a positive influence, because our children are watching us. They're learning what love looks like from us. They're learning what conflict or even conflict resolution looks like from us. They're learning about what forgiveness looks like from us and how to speak to themselves by listening to how we speak to them. The way we speak to them actually become their inner language, inner conversations as they get older. And I know this can feel quite heavy, but I'm not perfect. I get tired too. I get impatient too, like I said before. And sometimes, do I still yell at my kids? Yes, they'll tell you I still do. And sometimes I react first and then think later and regret it afterwards. But I'm learning this. This is a learning journey. Our children don't need perfect parents. They need parents who are willing to grow and be better every day. Parents who can say, sorry, I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry that I hurt your feelings. Parent who can repair relationships and say, can we start again, please? I'm sorry for what I said to you. And parents who can say, I love you. Even when we are working through hard things, I love you no matter what. What you do, what you don't do, all of those things, it doesn't matter. It won't change the way I love you. That is such a powerful thing for our children. Because repairing relationships, seeing them as someone who is loved unconditionally, teaches our children that mistakes are not the end of our love for them. Having conflict, arguing with them, disagreeing with them, does not have to break our connection with them. And letting them know that big emotions and feelings can be talked about. It is okay to experience it, and we can talk through it to teach them how to manage it. Adults can take responsibility too. Maybe some of us didn't grow up seeing adults in our life apologize to us, and feelings and emotions were probably not really talked about or even ignored. Everyone just moved on and pretended everything was fine. Maybe that was the environment that we grew up in. Maybe we learned to just be quiet, don't ask, don't bring it up again, just obey. But now we have the choice to build something different. We have the choice to, as our children is growing up, to let them know that you don't need to be perfect to be loved. You can make mistakes and you still belong to this family. And that you can speak up. Let me know what you are thinking and feeling, because your voice matters, and we can let our children know that, your feelings and your emotions are completely valid and it matters. So that we can create a home that is safe, even when things are not perfect. To me, that is truly what generational impact and leaving a legacy is. Not just giving our children education so they can have a good job later on, giving them opportunities, money one day, but giving them a truly healthier picture of a loving home, a healthier picture of what family should be like, and in turn, a healthier picture of what leadership is. Maybe this is the time, that I am waking up and realize that my growth is not only just for me. My process of healing is not just only for me. And learning emotional maturity is way more than just about me. It affects my children, my family, the next generations that come after them. So the question I've been pondering really is not, what kind of children am I raising? What are they going to do in the future? But the deeper question I thought is, what kind of an adult am I becoming in front of them to inspire them to become who they can be, the best that they can be in the future? So if you're a parent, grandparent, teacher, youth leader, auntie, uncle, or anyone at all who influences the next generation, remember your life is speaking. Whatever you show through the patterns that you've learned and your beliefs that you've learned over the years are teaching these next generations. So your growth really matters to make positive change in the future. Be blessed, and I'll see you in the next video.